for the benefit, this will just be review for you of the new people. Let's just walk through a few key pieces navigating around the site. All right. Use my pen as a pointer. When you log in the first time, can we show that getting started? She's like 5 steps ahead of me. It's
I
like,
know.
wow, that's great. This is the screen that many of you have already seen. Maybe you're seeing it for the first time. This is the self-guided tour, so it's a good place to walk through, and I know you'll get tired of seeing this screen and you're going to click this box. Don't ever show it to me again. Just know it's in the drop-down menu from your name if you forget exactly what's my profile about, what can I do in my settings. I'll go through quickly for the benefit of the new people here. Yeah. In the drop-down menu, under your name is the profile. That's the first place. This is what the school knows about you, right? So if anything's incorrect, anything needs to be updated, whenever you see a pencil, that means you can edit. In this example, we are a coach. I don't see any red X's, so we don't let people X out any information. They can certainly change and they can certainly add new. But throughout the system, when you see a pencil, it means you click on it and you can engage that editing ability. If you see a red X, it means you can remove it entirely. So hopefully the information you see about yourself on your profile is correct. Everybody has a profile. Anybody who's logging in has a profile. The other pieces is settings. These are your login settings, and we've already established some default settings. You know, coaches, teachers, when they log in for the first time should land on My Day. I think it's just the best place to go. You can always change our mind and maybe pick resources. I'll show you what resources are real quickly. But I think My Day is the best. Notifications. Notifications are really important with athletics if we move forward in this way. Half of the notifications in this list, you'll notice, are athletic related. You know, when games are posted, when they're changed, when results, are added. Every person, especially important to parents, they'll be able to come in here and opt in and say, you know what, I want to be texted when a game, give me like an hour ahead kind of option. A game reminder. Remind me when my child's game is again, just kind of so I can be more active. You could certainly ask the system to notify you a day ahead, even give you more time, heads up. So parents, I think, appreciate the athletic pieces a lot just because it helps them stay on top of things. And then, especially if a game is changed at the last minute, it's helpful. You have to opt in for this piece. It's not like a given. So the reason we can't do it for everybody is when you opt in for like a text, no way can we keep up with a list of providers for smartphones or text devices, and we can't even authenticate because what happens is a person's going to enter their phone number, choose the provider sends them an authentication code and they say yes, and all that great stuff. So it is truly opt-in only. You yourselves could opt in, get reminders if you need to. Privacy, just for, again, review for you and an update for everybody back there. The school's established some parameters, really tight parameters, as far as what people can see about you. You can see everything on your profile because that's about you, but when you go and you look up a colleague or you go and you look up a parent, it's a little bit different. So when you're on your privacy page, ask yourself, I as a coach, I as a teacher, what do I want students to see about me? Right now, guaranteed, all students are seeing about you is your photo, your email address at work, and your job title, and your name. So it's really tight down. If you want to share your home phone, if you want to share, a different email, that's up to you entirely. You can always change that tight parameter. So ask yourself, what do I want to display to students? What do I want to display to teachers? What do I want to display to parents? And you're setting it up for you, the individual, but the school's decided it's pretty just emails and job titles. Okay. Sneaky Fi. All of that is right here on your privacy. All of this came from your drop-down menu underneath your name called Settings. And that's what that online tutorial is kind of walking you through. You can always go back and refresh. Directories. We have 3 directories for you online. If you need to find an athlete, go to the student directory. You'll find a list of students in there. If you need to contact a parent for one of your athletes on the team, go to the parent directory. It's going to be listing this, directory is every student in the system. But again, maybe you just need to contact them for some reason. You can certainly click on the More Info button here on the left, and you'll see, the child's parents and relationships and easy access to an email or a phone number. You also have options over here if you want to just view that particular student's profile. We also call it contact card. Contact card and profile, they're synonymous. So here's all the information that we have on this child. And because you're a coach, you can see this stuff. Because maybe you're a teacher as well, you see this information. It's not viewable by everybody, but some people are needing more information so they have access to see it. And let's see the calendar. Let's go ahead and just quickly go through the calendar. It's an aggregate of all your activities at school, not just athletics, not just teaching, but everything. So here are your filters down the left-hand side. The games and practices, that's athletic specific. These black arrow carrots. If you click on that, right, so we happen to know in our example, Gary Beck is the football varsity coach, right? If you're teaching more than one team, you would see a list of your teams here. And then, of course, once the schedules are added, then all the schedules will be coming into the calendar area here. So if you're teaching multiple or coaching multiple teams, you could certainly filter through and just see one team at a time if you like. This school athletics, that's going to be all the teams, just so you can keep up with everything going on at school. Or not, you can certainly come through here and unselect items as well. Okay, these other pieces, news, that's going to come about as time progresses, news stories. Coaches, if you have a spectacular game and you want to write up a little article, I'm sure the communications people would appreciate, they'll be able to, present a news story, especially even if there's pictures, even better. Scoreboard. It's so hard to show you these things because we're not sure how things are going to work out with the school. We're still setting things in place.
We have an integration with School Dude, and so how we're hoping that it can be set up is that all scheduling will go into School Dude and then fed into Blackbaud.
Right.
And so that's what we're going forward with right now, is that any scheduling that you need to get things on the calendar, go ahead and put them into School Dude. And Chelsea and Katie are our experts here for School Dude. And then what we're working with and getting this set up is an integration piece and have things fed into Blackbaud. And we will give you more information, hopefully by in-service, on how that's going to come together.
Let's go ahead, you can just show you resources quickly. We might use resources also. It's a great place to post static information you need throughout, but if there's athletic handbook, it might be a great place to post it. Right, if there's, I would say put an athletic handbook here along with the student handbook perhaps. Resources, again, is something you need throughout the school year. You don't necessarily need it every day, but it's a good resource, a place to go when you need to look something up or find something useful. This group finder is going to be great. Once we do have all the team pages set up, even if you're not a coach, you just want to follow a team. Like, I know the football team is playing. When is the next game? I just want to go be supportive. You could certainly come in here and just search for that particular team page and then find the details, hopefully, from there, even if you're not a coach or an athlete yourself or a parent of an athlete. So a group finder will be very helpful too, and that's on the resources page. Okay. You as coaches are going to have groups. All athletic teams are groups. So teachers have classes, coaches have groups. So hopefully all your, team pages will be listed here that you're coaching. When you go to a group, in classes it's called a bulletin board. For athletics it's called a team page. And the idea behind the team page is get the information about the team easily absorbable. Don't bombard people with just a lot of information. Just keep it simple, keep it concise, let people know what this team is up to and what they're about. Coaches can put information on the page by clicking that enter edit mode. And you get this kind of view. It's a layout kind of view. Down the left-hand side are options of content that are available for you to put on your page. You don't have to use these content types, but they're here for you if you want. You can change the way it's laid out. If the wide left, skinny right doesn't work for you, you can certainly change a different look if you want. Maybe 3 columns works better for whatever information you want to display. When you have content on your page, these came to be by just clicking over here on the left column and dragging them over to the right. Exactly, and dropping it. You have to have that dotted line display. Yeah, you're going to have to drop it here, I think, first. That's where it came from. And then can you drag it over? It could be goofy. You might have to just maybe preview the page and go back. Sometimes Internet Explorer is goofy, sometimes the demonstrations are goofy. Now try. There we go, now you can. Don't ask me why. If something doesn't work, save it, maybe preview it, come back, I don't know. Life is strange. But that's the idea. You click on the grayish area, and you can see the mouse key changes from an arrow to the crosshairs, and you can move things around and adjust it. As you're adjusting and bringing content and moving it around and arranging it, you have this banner down here at the bottom. You can always preview and see what you've done. Is that really what I intended to do? Lovely, good work. Guess you really can't tell what you've done until you add some content.
Do you want to go to your site?
Yeah, let's go to my site. Let's edit enter mode. Did I say that right, or is enter edit mode? That's what it was. So yeah, these are the content types that I've dragged over and arranged on the page, right? Text, again, pencils mean you can edit, X's mean you can remove. Your text is kind of like a Word document. You can certainly type in, we're so excited about this season because we're going to do great things. We have a wonderful group of athletes going. Welcome. Stay with us, watch for more details kind of thing. The more the better. You can certainly add photos with that text. Good idea to spice up your page even with photos. Either put them within the text or you can have a photo content type dragged over here from there. When you add photos, just keep in mind that photos can get really fat, right? They can get really large depending on the camera you're using. If you have one of those telescopics, that can reach from across the field 500 million miles away, close up. It's probably going to be a really large file, and so the larger the file it is, the more time it takes to display on the page, and people might get tired of waiting because it just takes too long. So when you add photos, just be mindful of how big they are, maybe size them down. You just simply have to make sure those photos are on your hard drive somewhere. You can't just grab an image off an internet page, like a Shutterfly page, and then just drag it over. You're going to have to save it first to a hard drive and then put it on your team page here. Anytime you see an asterisk, like by that album title, that means it's a required field. So if you try to save something and it's not working, it's probably that tiny little asterisk that you're not paying attention to. And you can certainly work in the future. Here's another asterisk. You have to have a published date. Maybe you're not ready to put these photos up yet. You want to do it next week, the week after. You can certainly move forward in time and set a future date. And you can always expire them. Sometimes photos is not a good idea to expire because people love photos no matter what time they were taken. But text could be expired. Other things could be expired. if you're coaching more than one team. And maybe this content that you're adding is appropriate for the other teams, you don't have to load it twice. Just share it with your other teams that you're responsible for. That would be great. This particular person on my demo site is in charge of all the teams. That's why he has all the teams available to him. Okay, that was photos. Let's talk about announcements. Announcements are really great. You want to remind your athletes, okay, be sure and wear the red uniforms this week, not the green ones, or whatever the announcement is. It's a great way to communicate, especially since people can opt in to receive that text, opt in to receive that email. Hey, there's been an announcement posted. That's why we see that send notification. That's really important. It's going to be automatically selected. You can always post an announcement, but you don't have to send that notification out. It could just be an announcement on the page. You always have the option to send it or not. But you have to put in a headline, and then this would be the details you would add. And you have to put in a publish date. One thing about announcements, and news for that matter, those are the two categories of content that send those notifications out. So if you're a night owl, you're setting up this announcement, and you're getting ready, it's going to go up maybe tomorrow, you're thinking, or even maybe next week. You're just planning ahead. Please, 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 please pick a time. Otherwise, if you don't pick a time, it's going to be at midnight the day it's posted. And guaranteed, parents don't want a text notification at midnight saying, be sure and wear your green uniform, right? Yeah. So it's critical in announcements and in news. If you're posting those items, and if you're working in the future, not at a normal hour when most people are awake, pick a time. And same option with all of these pieces, if you want to share this with another team, you can certainly do so. Okay, I might even move announcements. Announcements really should be at the top, I would think. This would also be useful if you have to cancel the game. I know we're going to try to integrate with School Dude, but sometimes if it truly is like a last minute decision, we've tried to hold off, but really we just have to cancel the game, or we just have to move the venue. It'd be good, go ahead and post an announcement, and that way you definitely can send that notification, and in that instance, overkill is okay. If I'm the parent, I wouldn't mind getting like 500 notices that the game was canceled.
Coach or whoever is assigned to manage this site for the team has an announcement category already set up. They can access it from their phone.
Absolutely.
And add an announcement just on the fly.
Absolutely. You're on the field and it's like, okay, they called it. It's lightning. Too much. Soccer game is canceled. I've been the parent sitting in the car waiting, for the sirens to go off or stay on, or So yeah, it's a great tool. You can access this from a smartphone, and we're done. Sorry. Yep. When you post announcements such as that, you have the active, future, and expired. You might kind of make some canned announcements and just have them ready. Game canceled. Sorry. It's just the way it is. We'll reschedule and let you know what's going on. You might just keep that in the expired area, right? And then bring it back if you need to. You don't have to think hard. You just change the dates. Something like that is a good option. Yep. Scoreboard, that's going to be, we still haven't worked out the issues with that. We're not sure that's going to be an option. Scoreboard is based off of your schedule, so once the schedules are in there, then we have the option to go ahead and put in scores. We won, we lost, we tied. You can add opponents and all that kind of great stuff. Let's click on the actual game. Well, that's fine. Scoreboard, you would have a game scheduled, right, and it's already been played. Actually, this is one we didn't have it. Let's find one of these. That'd be better. Yeah. On the scoreboard, you can certainly enter the scores and the win, designate win, losses, and ties. You have a versus, if this were a football team, a soccer team, you do have versus, right? If it's a cross country or a swim, you have places and points instead. So you have the option to choose versus or place and points. And if this was a tournament, you didn't know from the get-go which team you were playing, but now we do know you can always add an opponent. And so behind the scenes, we're working on adding a list of opponents that perhaps you regularly play. We had some discussion from the other one about maybe just having a generic New Mexico team or Texas team, just for those instances when you do play somebody that you normally don't play in your division. So you can always add as many opponents as appropriate, especially if it was an invitational or a tournament, and include all the different scores for that as well. Then if you have highlights, you want to do a play-by-play for each quarter, or pick out the highlights that happened for each meet or something like that, you certainly could. You could allow comments from parents and other athletes, perhaps. Just hopefully people will be kind in their comments. And you can always add photos. This is a special one, and some parent was taking lots of great photos. Why not share them, right? Okay, so that's results of a game. Again, all of this is kind of going to happen if we can get things working the way we want it to. Otherwise, we'll go to Plan B, which hasn't been decided yet, but we'll figure something out.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Embed. If you have a YouTube video, maybe someone shot the whole game or shot a segment, captured that perfect score, captured that perfect shot into the hoop or something like that. You can go to YouTube if it's posted there and grab that embed share code and then embed it on your team page. That might be kind of exciting. Maybe if there's a specific training, right? Maybe there's some kind of weightlifting thing you want to highlight this week. You could certainly embed a video there showing the proper way to weightlift or something like that. So that's an option. So the embed is for if it's already somewhere else on a YouTube video or such, go ahead and embed that right on your page. Again, as you're building and putting items on your page, you can always preview and see how it's looking. Fabulous. Done a great job here. Okay, go back. But that's the view your parents see. That's the view the athletes see. What you see is what they see. So it gives you a great idea. You're the only one that has access to edit. Let's see. So we know about the ad. We know about the pencils, the X's, these little gears. Go ahead and click on that gear. Maybe you don't want to call it announcements on the page. Maybe you want to just say, hey, heads up. Or you want to say important notices. You could type in something here like that. Let's call it heads up there, Tammy. That'd be great. Then save, and then we'll preview the page. So those little gears change that big kind of title. You don't have to be programming jargony. These are your downloads, these are your announcements, these are your links. You could always, be more creative. Programmers are just functional, right? You guys are the creative ones. Downloads, that's a good feature. If you have some handouts for your athletes, you have handouts for the parents, put them on the page so they always have access to them. I know we said we'll put the handbook, athletic handbook on resources, but you could link to that resource board. You could put, we as managers could put that athletic handbook resource board link on every single team page. That might be helpful. Then the coaches don't have to even worry about it, right? But if you have another handout, a workout, this is what we're going to do. This is our schedule. Here's our team dinners. That's all downloads. Go ahead and drag those files, find them on your computer, and post them on your team page. Then they're always there. The nice thing about downloads is you can certainly organize them if you have categories. Maybe you have a download for team dinners. Maybe you have another category of workout trainings. Maybe you have another category of I don't know what. You could certainly create a bunch of different categories and organize your downloads that way. This is good. My demo site's going to look fabulous when Tammy gets done. I appreciate it. Statistics, that's gonna be pulling in information if we populate that, the wins and the losses. It's not statistics like someone mentioned the other time, going to the Max Prep site, you know, getting detailed statistic on each athlete and all their, you know, whole litany of things. It's not that statistic. This statistics here is very simple. How many wins, how many losses, how many ties, how are we doing this season kind of thing. And it's pulling all the data that's collected here. I think that's it for the team page. You can be as creative as you want. I would encourage you to have, again, a welcome, and definitely put up those downloads, those handouts for your athletes, for your parents, and maybe a link to something important. Throw up a few photos, make it a little more exciting, and we'll go from there. It's always a work in progress. Whatever you do today, there's always tomorrow, right? The roster, you guys should, is the drill team roster on your actual Hope site?
Yes.
Your golf team is on there too? Perfect. So yeah, we're making progress.
So it's the coach roster team parent is for football.
Cool. Good work. Yeah, let's look at a roster with students. Your student rosters, you know, it's going to have the school photo, it's going to list the name, it's going to have this. You, the coach, can always, you know, see where the student is academically. If you chose to go to progress, you certainly could. If you needed to report an infraction on their conduct, maybe they had bad sportsmanship that day or just were having a bad day, you could certainly, I guess that's one of those is, I don't know, might be needing to be added to the list. But that's there available. This is for every single athlete. You can see the year that they're in. You know, this is the varsity squad. The pencils on the far right. You could certainly add their jersey number, the position they're playing. You know, if they're in wrestling, you know, height and weight might be important. Locker number, locker combo, if you want to add that, that's their athletic. That's not their school locker. That's just strictly the athletic piece. And then accolades, that's nice, you know, if you have a team captain designation, if you want to recognize the returning letters. You know, that's not going to, letter winner isn't going to be this season, right, the current season, but you might have somebody who already received a letter last year, and you can recognize that as well. This photo, it's not connected to the profile photo, so, you know, the school's loading all the student photos, the school photos in their profile and their contact card. This photo here could be just their athletic photo, something like that. If you get team photos, you guys get team photos?
Yes.
That would be nice. That would be something to put on the team page, just have that nice big team photo with them all looking mean, right? I'm picturing my son, he was an athlete too, and it's like, can you guys ever smile? True, Mom. We're not there to be nice. It's like, I was thinking, I like it. Girls always smile, right? They're always, although when they try to be mean, it's just hysterical. Sorry, I digress, it's later in the day. Anyway, you have some options here on your roster, some information you could just, you know, beef up the site a little bit with. And then, of course, the schedule. If we go, I don't know how this is going to pan out, but the schedule could display here. And what's going to show, you might want to go to our site, I guess, my demo site, not AMI, your demo site. Oh, you are? And there's no schedule? Oh, there we go. I looked down too long, and we're back in time, but that's how a schedule looks in a list view. You can certainly look at a schedule in a calendar view. Let's go back. One thing that is important on the schedule, again, if the schedule ever arrives, is that settings button. I know there's a lot of time spent trying to get the schedule organized, and it takes time because you're coordinating with all these other teams. You know, there will come a time, everything's set to no from the get-go, nothing's published. So once the schedules are final, it's okay for athletes and parents to see the schedule, it's important to publish that schedule. Right? Publish the practice schedule. And that's one of those notifications. As soon as you hit publish, anybody who opted in to say, text me when it's up, that's kind of an automated feature. Okay, let's go.
We'll go back to the rosters and
Yeah, let's go back to the roster. See? You don't need me anymore.
Yes, we do.
Coaches can communicate with their team and the parents on the team through this little tiny vehicle right here, bulk message. Go ahead and click on parents. Yeah, my demo site doesn't work. We'll have to pick yours. And you don't have parents in it. Let me
Go to drill.
That's working on mine.
Good. I'm looking at you going, all right, everything's great. John's happy, I'm happy, you guys will be happy.
Or you can go to John, yeah.
Yeah, you want to be faculty groups, not classes, groups.
High school golf,
There we go.
girls high school.
That one has a
Click
roster.
on the roster.
Yay. Clicking on that bulk communication piece and parents, right, calls up from the data. You don't have to keep a separate distribution group, you know, it's calling from the most current data, which is cool. You're not communicating, you don't have to worry about updating email addresses, the system's doing that for you. Make sure you click semicolon if you're using Microsoft Outlook. That's what it likes. You can certainly come here and highlight, select all, Control A, copy, Control C, and paste it into your inbox message, your Outlook message. If you already have Outlook open, or if you're, working elsewhere on another inbox, clicking on that button should pop up your messaging as well. One thing to be mindful of, always, 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 the recipient of any email you send out is yourself, right? These addresses go in the BCC field, the blind copy field. We don't want parents grabbing these email addresses and creating their own communication and marketing their own business, something like that. So it's important, put all of these parent emails in the BCC, and then the recipient is yourself, and that way you always have a record of what you sent your team as well. Someone says, oh, you never said that. I read the email, you didn't say that, and you can go, yeah, I really did. Okay, so important. Semicolons and BCC. And then you have a list of reports available to you. Emergency contacts, that's a handy report, right? In the case of an injury on the field, who do I contact? That would be a good report for you. And then, yeah. The other piece that's unique with athletics that isn't the same if you're a teacher at the school and working on your class pages is athletic information feeds the public site. So, Hope Christian's working on a brand new site and is populating all kinds of new stuff. The data on your team page could be displayed on your public site. So it's important that it be accurate. It reflects, good, what is that word? Team spirit?
One more thing before you leave this. What if they just want to email one individual versus everyone on the team?
Here's your athletes. You could go to their contact card, and you should see
There's an email.
parent email.
Their email is at the top, I think.
Student email.
That's the student phone number.
Yeah. Are you loading student emails?
Not for middle school, I think just for high school. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah. If the system has an email for the student, then it would be just like a parent. You would see an email address, and yeah, you could email the athlete or the parent. But yeah, all that information would be on their contact card. You can get to from the roster.
But can you click on it and send it from there?
Yeah, if you click on it, it would open up your
It's an,
Outlook.
anytime you
Open
see
mine.
something like this in blue, it's a live link. What's important is you create that landing, that team page, fill it up with some excitement, get people eager to come back, right? That you just don't want to be boring and, okay, whatever, you know, and build that enthusiasm about your team. Put some photos up, create some announcements, let people know what's coming down the road. You know, we're gonna do this, we'll put this here. Here's your athletic information that you need to know right now. Here's when practices start, right? Be here at this time. If you want to be put on the varsity squad, you have to show up, right? That kind of information. Go ahead and start working on that for your team pages. That's important.
Now, someone asked, Wednesday, I guess it was, they have a Shutterfly account for their team, and the parents, you know, dump their game photos into that Shutterfly account. There is no limit on this as far as photos that you can put in there, but Shutterfly is, Mary was saying, Shutterfly has it down. You know, they're kind of the expert at
you know,
that. So-
Shutterfly is the expert at collecting photos. That's their software program.
Yeah. So why
We
not put a
can't
link?
give all the parents on a team access to put photos on this page, but Shutterfly allows for that, right?
Sure.
So have your parents, you know, dump their 500 million megabyte photos in Shutterfly, then you don't have to worry about anything. All you need to do is post a link on your team page to that Shutterfly account. That's what I would do, pull off a few great looking photos, you know, go ahead and use those, put them on your team page, you know, permission allowed, right? You can check first. So yeah, pull a few great images of the team doing fantastic stuff, put them on the team page, and then over here on the side have a link that goes right to the, you know, 900 other million photos. Go find your athlete.